So looking into the attack.
Yep.
Now it gets tricky, and I want to clarify because even I was running into this. We don't know officially who's going to be senior team Union 2. So the bottom of the list gets a little wonky because we're not quite sure. Also, there are some players like a Quinn Sullivan where they might be playing either or depending on the formation. So putting all those disclaimers out there before y'all come for our next of
Can we go
why
off
do you
of what
have
the
this?
team gives us here?
Yeah, but I think what we do know is who should be at the top and kind of the formation, the order from there, I should say. So we'll start with the midfield since we're working up the field.
Let's go.
Now, there are various names involved in this mix. Jesus Bueno, Jack McGlynn, Jose Martinez, Daniel Gazdag. You've got Quinn Sullivan, who's been playing in the midfield, Ali Bedoya, obviously Leon Flock. Then different names like Sanders Agabo, Jeremy Raffanello, Joaquin Torres. It gets a little hairy from there. So at the top of the midfield, who do you feel like is the Philadelphia Union's best midfielder?
The best midfielder. See if yours is the
same as mine.
The best midfielder on this team. It depends on how you would look at it, but if you're looking at more with the holding and the defense, I would look at Brujo Martinez.
Okay.
He's shown he's always been tenacious and he's always willing to win the ball back no matter where in the pitch. But last year you saw more of a prowess and more willing, and I think it was just more comfortability pushing the ball up and being a prominent role in the attack. And I want to continue seeing that from him. Obviously, we saw the banger goal last year. Hopefully, we can also see some more goals. And maybe it doesn't have to always be a banger as well, Jose. But I think in general, I look at Brujo Martinez as a defensive midfielder who's extremely important. That diamond midfield, we talked about that compactness and how important that is. He's that engine in that midfield, that energy that they definitely need.
Yeah, and the important disclaimer is exactly that because of the fact that if we're looking specifically at your true holding midi, it is Jose. If you're looking at just overall midfielder, you could make the case for Jack, but I think because Jack is still so young that I'm not ready to give him that top spot in the midfield. But I would have Jose as the best midfielder that if I'm picking and making any sort of, let's say it's backyard soccer and I'm making my draft picks, I'm starting off with Jose Martinez.
I like that.
And then Jack McGlynn is my number 2 overall for the midfield.
Probably still going to go Pablo Sanchez, but I like that.
I was like, who? Oh, Pablo was definitely still the top of the list. But yeah, I think Jack is emerging into his own. He definitely, we've been seeing even in his time with the U.S. men's national team this past January, we're seeing more of that flair, the creativity. He gets forward. He's getting a little bit more aggressive into the attack, which is what is gonna help him take a huge step in his midfield presence because he is that box-to-box midi. He's not quite the holding midfielder like Jose, that's just solid clog in the midfield, but he's not yet that playmaker that you need. So hopefully this is his year, Jack, that you see him getting into the attack. Jack in the attack. All right, so Jesus Bueno, numero 3.
He to me is
Tree?
the biggest, I want to say biggest question mark, but like I think a lot of us have the expectation for him to run away with Ali's position. But we haven't seen him as a consistent starter. So that's where I would say that's the question mark in this midfield. Can Jesus now take on the load as he essentially almost every match starter? That 1A. This isn't 1A, 1B. This is him as the 1. You're probably going to have Ali as a 2. So that's where I'm going to have my question marks with Jesus Bueno. But obviously, Renee, he stepped up big last year, especially when he needed him most. Because of his play, you were able to kind of dispose of Andres Pereira, who really didn't fit in Jim's system. Yeah. And because of that, the expectation's higher this year.
Definitely. I think I'm going to... It's hard because, like you mentioned, it's hard to put him in that spot when we haven't actually seen him in that role. But I think my predictions coming into 2024 and how I'm projecting this starting 11 to shake out is that Jesus is going to be the third best midi. It also, as you were talking through that, had me wondering, what is the formation that we feel like is the best for this group? I think I'm starting to swing towards, I want to see them in a 4-3-3, to be honest, because I feel like with the way that Nate and Kai play as outside backs, if you have a 4-3-3, you just give them even more space to get up the flank. But then now also you add more into the attack because Daniel Gazdag as the attacking midi in the diamond is basically a center forward. So go on and push him up higher and now have some forwards that are giving you width, and then Daniel Gaza getting you up into the attack. So
Talking my language, Renee.
yeah, I think I'm going in my depth chart. We're in a 4-3-3 that we're talking about for the Union, and I do see it as Jose, Jack, and Jesus Bueno with 2 attacking center middies.
I would love to see that. But they're married to this diamond.
I don't think this unit has. I mean, they can. I won't say they can't, but
they also, the thing is too, I think they just genuinely love that 2 forward system. They were one of, like, in this new modern MLS, like, they were one of the first ones to kind of bring it back. And with that number 10, that's so important when we talk about the way the Union, I feel like they preferably like to attack is on a counterattack. And when you have a Gazdak, he's always looking to make that pass. So they just love having that 10, just kind of doing those outlet passes, especially on pressing too. But I'm with you. That's my dream. Just seeing this Union in a 4-3-3 with guys who just are great with the ball at their feet and just play free flowing. And then you could still have a high press. And it might be even better. Because imagine you have that high press in a 4-3-3, you win the ball back. Now you have different options. Guys have free flowing ball.
I just feel like with the diamond midfield, the 4th middy's kind of getting lost.